Hello and welcome to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
Alright.
Stephen.
Hello.
And Liam. And
What's
today,
happening?
and today I've got really glad that I keep on cutting off the fourth person. I apologise. I did it to Stuart last week. Apologies, Stuart. So yeah, we are live on Twitch just now, and obviously we're putting this up as a podcast afterwards. Today, three topics. We're going to be talking about the Celtic game tomorrow, Monday, which was meant to be today. The goalkeeping situation with Macey signing, Dabrowski returning from loan, and Rocky obviously still here, and then finishing up with a bit of transfer talk, just a bit of fun, we've done something similar last year, talking about one realistic signing, one semi-realistic signing, and one fantasy signing. So we'll be chatting about that towards the end of the show, so if folk want to get that in the chat just now, we'll read out some of your guys' suggestions for a realistic, a semi-realistic, and a fantasy, so just one of each. I think we've done two of each last year, and it was a bit too much, so we've kind of narrowed it down. I'm getting feedback because I've got my volume on with the Twitch video here. Anyway, Dave, how are you getting on?
Not bad, mate. I just did a workout, so I feel a bit sick.
Yeah.
Like, I literally finished it 15 minutes ago.
What was the workout?
Insanity.
Right, I've not done Insanity.
It's shite, didn't do it. So hard. And then my so-called mate, he was my mate, he was the one that was hosting it, and then he put on one that was halfway through the second month.
Oh.
Like, kind of, you get, like, you meant to do them in an order. He just picked one that was, it was like week 6 or 7, and that was my first one. Fuming.
Real friend for you there. Liam, how are you getting on?
Not bad, mate. Like Dave, I did a wee workout today as well. I was on the exercise bike, chucked in a quick half an hour. Then I just ate a plate of lentil soup, and it was delicious.
Stephen, what about yourself?
Aye, fine. I got the kids, so I took them a walk today. That's my exercise done. Had an omelette for lunch, so that was pretty depressing. It's like, this whole healthy eating thing's not for me, but I'll get there. They're sitting watching Scooby-Doo to keep quiet for the next hour, so fingers crossed it stays that way.
First one or the second one?
First one.
What, the film?
Aye.
I didn't even know there was a second one.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Monsters Unleashed, is it, or something?
Yeah. They're both really good. I think the casting was brilliant. But anyway, we'll stop talking about Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo. But yeah, I like I say, the bit behind the scenes, the four of us and a couple other Hibs mates have started doing a challenge to kind of lose some weight and kind of compete against each other, but in a friendly manner and stuff, and try and shift some of that lockdown weight. So yeah, like I say, the guys all good to hear that the guys are showing me up by doing exercises. I was sitting watching wrestling this morning. I was eating healthy, but just sitting watching wrestling. Nothing exciting. No workouts. Only sweat about stressing about this live stream going wrong. But aye. So yeah, we're going to get jumping in, chatting about the Hibs. Celtic was meant to be today, Dave, but it's been moved a bit.
Right, let them go on their jollies.
Yeah. Liam, what's your thoughts been on Celtic's form so far this season? I mean, they find themselves second in the table, 19 points behind the Rangers, 4 points ahead of Aberdeen, and 7 points ahead of Hibs.
They've not really, impressed me at all. I don't think that they've been great all season. They kind of picked up a little bit after they won a cup. They had maybe 2 or 3 half decent results, but then after they get beat by Rangers and then they go away to Dubai, it doesn't look good on them. And I think the fans are probably going to be getting on their back again soon, which is brilliant. And then I think there's a chance they might finish lower down the table.
Stephen, can you see it kind of imploding and Aberdeen or potentially even Hibs catching Celtic, or do you think it'll be the old firm 1 and 2?
It's one of the things, Like, I don't think they'll get to the point where they're that bad that they'll drop down the table. I don't think the board will let that happen. I think as soon as the title is out of sight, they might just start to pick up a bit of form because they know that they need to. I think with the performances for last season, I'm sure that the second place now goes into the Champions League playoffs or early qualification stages. So I don't think they'll let themselves drop out of the Champions League. But I think the title's away from them now. After that result of the weekend, that's it. So.
looking at Celtic's recent form, I mean, to be fair, Dave, it's fair to say that they were kind of on a bit of form. I'll quickly run through it here. Obviously, they won the Scottish Cup. Before that, they beat Kilmarnock 2-0, and after that, beat Ross County 2-0, Hamilton 3-0, and Dundee United 3-0. 4 clean sheets, 4 wins in the league. Is it fair to say, I mean, we don't talk about the Old Firm game too much, there's been plenty of coverage towards that, but is it fair to say they were maybe heading towards another clean sheet and another victory if it hadn't been for that red card in the Old Firm game?
Yeah, they played quite well, but like you say, like Celtic, even on an off day, are still going to give you a game, especially at Celtic Park. So, but they probably deserve to beat Rangers, and they have been playing a bit better. But I don't know if that'll set them back a wee bit, because that's like a kick in the stance for the minute. So
yeah,
we've maybe got them at a time where confidence will be low. So we just need to take advantage of that, Ken.
And I say the Rangers game, 1-0. I have to say I think they were deserving to win the game. They were looking like the more likely team to score, and I think that red card did change it. But well. But getting more back to Hibs, Liam, on a head-to-head basis, Celtic haven't lost to Hibs in the last 9 meetings. They've won 6 of them and drawn 3. And our last win at Parkhead, which the game is on Monday, came on the 27th of January 2010. That's almost 11 years ago. We really need to fix that record, don't we?
We do. We're not really very good at Parkhead, are we? I think I've been to Parkhead a handful of times, though. I mean, I've only seen us play well. I think once it was when John McGinn scored twice, scored 2 great goals. But, I think, like Dave says, now's as good a time as any to play them. But it's still going to be a tall order, at Parkhead. They're a strong team. The only thing that, can really work in our favour is that there's no fans there. But that didn't exactly benefit us. The last time we went to Parkhead, we got scudded 3-0. So, it's going to be tough. But, like football's football, anything can happen.
Stephen, what do you think? Is this, like Liam said, a good time to play them? Or do you feel with their recent form, Old Firm game, out with that, the recent form they've been in, like I say, ran through those results, is this maybe a bad time to be playing them? They're kind of...
I think it's one of these that will go either way, because obviously they've got a lot of pressure on them after the whole Dubai thing. They'll get reports back to say what's been happening, and the fact that the club have announced statements, like put out statements and all the rest of it, they need a result to prove that it was actually worthwhile them going after losing the derby.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that can work in our favour. We're on a wee bit of running form as well, so I think it's a good time for us, and we've got a couple of players that look as though they're coming back and stuff. So yeah, fingers crossed. Like, I'd say we've got as good a chance as them of winning.
Dave, what Stephen mentioned Dubai there, what do you think? Do you think it could work in our favour in terms of, or do you think they could be rejuvenated from it? Or do you like Stephen said, could there be extra pressure from them to get a result to kind of justify it with all the external things that came as well, Nicola Sturgeon talking about and things like that?
There is pressure on them. They can't lose a game for now at the end of the season, realistically. So they're going to have pressure on them every game they play. But at the same time, I think there's a bit of pressure on Jack Ross now to get a performance at that team after the last couple of results. Because there is people out there, rightfully no, like they're allowed their opinion, who think that Jack Ross probably isn't good enough, but he's maybe doing an alright job. So this is a chance for him to be like, pull a result out of the bag that makes everybody go right and calm down a wee bit. Because a heavy defeat at Parkhead's only going to mount the pressure. I don't think he's under pressure to lose his job necessarily, but he's getting questions from him, and there'll no stop if we get bumped.
Aye, Liam, Jack Ross definitely needs a result against a big side, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Like Dave says, I think he's he's not under pressure necessarily to lose his job, but folk are starting to ask questions. I win at Parkhead. Is it going to paper over the cracks? I don't know. But
somebody's just said in the chat, is that Liam flexing his PS5 ready? And I just honestly think it's amazing. I just looked up and I can see his boxing that's sitting there, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice it.
He is 100% put that in the view of his camera on purpose, knowing that he was
definitely
on this. Yeah.
Listen, if you can't stand the heat, go out the kitchen. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? Come on.
Congratulations on your PS5, Liam. So, like I say, the Celtic game on Monday night, a bit ridiculous. We should be watching it today. Thanks for joining us in the live stream instead. So let's sort of run through the score predictions for the game. Dave, starting with yourself. What do you think the score is going to be?
Right, you want realistic or you want an optimistic? What mood do you want the podcast
Tell
to
you
be?
what, let's get 6 scores in. Let's go for both realistic and optimistic.
Realistically, we're going to get beat 3-0. Optimistically, we're going to get beat 1-0.
That's literally what I was just about to say as well.
Liam, you're realistic and when you are.
I'm saying optimistic, we win 2-1.
Right.
Realistic, we win 2-1. With Martin Boyle scoring twice, and he celebrates by going, "I'm having fish tonight."
And Stephen, you're optimistic and you're realistic.
Right, so realistic, like Dave says, probably 3-0. Optimistic, we'll go 1-0.
Right, okay. Let us know in the chats your realistic. Well, that's a few things we're asking for, but you'd like to say what you think the score will be against the Celtic game on Monday night, and we'll read them up after the next bit, which is, like I say, we're going to be chatting about the goalkeeper. So I'm going to get my graphic here. So it should be this one. There we go. So the goalkeeper, we've got a bit of competition for goalkeepers. We're going to be talking about the transfer window and what positions we need to strengthen. But one position that looks Graham stacked is the goalkeeper position. So pleased with myself when I wrote that down. And it's shite. It's fucking shite. But yeah, Matt Macey has signed on a permanent deal until the end of the season. Kevin Dabrowski has been recalled from his loan at Dumbarton. The quote was, he will now focus on pushing Post-Marciano for a first team spot, but that was obviously before Macey signed as well. And Rocky is currently, or at least was before his injury, our number one, but now has a bit of competition. So, I mean, Dave, what does this mean for Rocky? Is this maybe writing on the wall about his contract up at the end of the season?
Possibly. I still think it means he is number one for the rest of the season. Like, I think Dabrowski and Macey will probably be fighting for that spot on the bench. If Rocky's fit, then he's number one. Can't see it going any other way. But the fact that we've got like maybe 2 second goalkeepers, that would make me think that there is a bit of doubt whether Rocky's going to sign or not.
Stephen, we'll talk about Macey in a minute, especially like you say, coming from an Arsenal fan, you're slightly like yourself. But I mean, does Macey signing now push Dabrowski back to third choice? And if it does, why did we cancel his loan?
For me, it does. I think we've obviously brought him back due to the fact that there's still a bit of uncertainty as to how long Marciano's got to be out. I don't think he's back for the Celtic game anyway.
No.
So I think obviously you need two quality keepers just in case something happens in that game. Dabrowski's he's another Hibs academy player that's come through into the first team, and don't really know how that'll go. But I think that bringing in a goalkeeper like Macey, who's been on the bench for Arsenal, it does sort of push Dabrowski back to third for me.
But I mean, like Stephen said, it's unlikely that Rocky's going to be involved tomorrow, Liam. Macey's only been in the door a few days. Is Dabrowski the favourite to start for you on Monday night?
I'm not going to lie, I have not got a clue. You know, I don't know much about this Macey bloke. If he's match fit or anything, depends how match fit he actually need to be a goalie. But I would probably put Dabrowski in and bench Macey, because we can that Dabrowski's been playing all season. But like we said, how long is Rocky going to be out for? If he comes back sooner, than the end of the January window, are we going to see Dabrowski loaned back out again? I don't know. Like, it's just confused me how we've now got 3 goalies on the books if Marciano is either not leaving in the summer or he's out for a long time.
And Dave, does Macey? Well, obviously Macey's the new signing. We'll talk about him for a bit. I mean, does he have enough first team football under his belt in recent years to come in and command a starting spot? I mean, I went through. He's 26 years old, 6'7" as well, which is really tall. But he's had one season as a number one in his whole career. It was at Plymouth Argyle. He made 34 appearances whilst on loan in the 18-19 season. Other than that, it was like 4 for Luton and 1 for somebody else. So that he's only had one experience as a first team goalkeeper. Does he have enough experience to come in and be like, right, I'm going to be number one?
I would hope that he's saying all that, because you didn't want him to come in and be like, I'll warm the bench for you. Like, you need number ones, like folk fighting for it. I think that's how Bogdan and Marciano both were like a really good combination, because they were like proper pushing each other, and at any point you could have felt like they could have been number one. So I'd personally quite like that. So I hope he's not just coming in and be like, I'm happy to sit here. But he doesn't sound like he's got much experience. So
the thing is, Stephen, is he going to leave Arsenal's bench, or Arsenal's sitting in the stand, to come and sit on Hibs' bench? I mean Arsenal aren't that big a club, but
I think it's come to that point where he's 26 now. He's had a few seasons on the bench. He's played in the Europa League for Arsenal, kept a clean sheet. He's had a full season with Plymouth. He's kept quite a few clean sheets for them, and I think it's got to be that time where he's at the point in his career. It's like make or break. If he pushes for 6 months at Hibs, gets a run in the team and does well, can we see him signing a permanent contract with us or going back down south? That's what my opinion of him is. I think he'll be playing for a move to a bigger club down south. You look at Martinez at Arsenal last season, came in, done well, and he's got a permanent move to Villa, and he's been keeping clean sheets for them. So I think he's just at that point in his career where he's had too much time on the bench or in the stands.
It's only my opinion, but I think the fact that it's quite telling. I mean, it's only a deal to the end of the season, which is a bit strange. So I don't know if that's maybe we haven't given up on Rocky yet, or if it's putting on pressure on Rocky to say, look, we're starting to look at other options. Maybe you want to sign. I don't know, but with Rocky's contract up and with this boy only signing until the end of the season, I feel that the fact that they're getting Dabrowski back in and around the picture, I think he's going to get games between now and the end of the season, and first game August. First game next season, he'll be the number one. I think Hibs are working towards that. I don't know who his number two will be, but I think he'll be the goalkeeper from next season. Dave, how would you feel about that if Dabrowski was kind of being eased in towards the number one next season? And would it have been more beneficial for him to stay number one for a full season if that's the plan?
He needs to come back. I don't think we can afford not to have him back now. So I think it would benefit him being in when about the team and that the now too, if he is going to be number one next season. Mm-hmm. Like bed him in a wee bit, give him a few games, and then if that is the plan, then fair play, rather than him coming back in the summer, then getting used to the team. But we've heard like people say that go to development games, how loud he is. And commanding and that, and like you say, he's a big boy, and just the video that Dumbarton put out, he looked class. Some of the saves and that he was making. So I'm quite happy with him. I like players coming through for the academy and getting a chance in the team and that. I think every Hibs fan does. So I think everybody will be happy with it.
I mean, Liam, it's kind of the thing. Like, I mean, we can relate to Dabrowski just now coming back and training with arguably better players and being around better players and having better coaches. But I mean, I could also apply it to Macey. Is there a benefit for goalkeepers? The sort of the thing about getting experience, but versus being training around top players and top coaches. Obviously, Macey's been around really good goalkeeping coaches and had Aubameyang shooting in him every day.
I suppose time will tell. If this Macey guy's any good. I can't say I've seen much of Dabrowski either. So, I'm just going to need to have a look at them both when they play. And just base my opinion of that, because I haven't seen anything. But I suppose there's arguments for both. If he's got Aubameyang and all that shooting into him every day in training, and then Kevin Dabrowski's got plumbers and jiners shooting into him every week at Dumbarton. Maybe it helps you or doesn't help you, because I can't imagine Matt Macey's keeping clean sheets every day in training against Aubameyang and Lacazette and all that.
Well, I'm not trying to be funny. Joel Pereira at Man United had decent players shooting into him, went to Hearts, and Jesus.
What a joke. What a joke of a goalkeeper, eh?
I don't think it matters who's shooting at you at training at all.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, Gav.
No, it's all right. No, that's why I asked the question. I wanted to answer. You gave me an answer. Very brutal and blunt, honest answer, but you gave me it. So like I say, Craig has been monitoring the chat and kind of going through your guys' questions, so we'll come to them. One that I've just sort of have noticed here on the stream, sorry to jump in and steal your job, Craig, is like I say, just sort of tying into this. It says, if Rocky is out, who should be in goals at Celtic Park? quickly running through the three is who would you have in goals on Monday if Rocky's still injured? Dave, start from yourself.
Dabrowski, because he's been playing.
Liam?
Like Kevin Dabrowski.
Stephen?
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Okay, so like I say, we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what, like I say, we've got our score prediction. We'll see what happens with the goalkeeper section as well. Another one to kind of keep an eye on. I mean, we have in the past. I mean, it didn't really work, but we did have what the John Hughes' goalkeeping school. We had the three goalkeepers competing for the position. So maybe a bit of competition will bring out the best in all of them. But in saying that, up until his injury, I think Rocky's been in some of his best form. So it depends on how serious the injury is. So like I say, we'll come the questions at the end. We're going to kind of run through some transfer talk now. So we've done this last year, and thank you for everyone that's sort of coming in with our realistic and semi-realistic and fantasy signings. I asked you guys to do your homework and tell me, why, who you think's a realistic signing and what they'd bring to the team and stuff. So Dave, start with yourself. Who's your first realistic signing that Hibs should go after this window?
Jordan Jones.
And why would you say he's realistic, and what do you think he'll bring to the team?
He used to tear us a new one quite a lot when he was at Kilmarnock. He's direct. He can play on that left wing, which is something that we've not got. And to be fair, we were missing just people that run it, players. Dangerous. He's exciting to watch, and he's completely froze at Rangers, so we could probably get him.
I think that's a good one. Liam, what would your thoughts be on Jordan Jones?
I'd be happy with Jordan Jones, despite him being, a dirty blue nose. Other than that, like he has told us a new one, like Dave says, every time he played against us for Kilmarnock. I don't know if he's played against us since he's been at Rangers, but I remember watching him at Kilmarnock, and that season that he had before he signed the pre-contract for Rangers, he was really exciting to watch. When Kilmarnock were beating Celtic and Rangers when they had Steve Clarke in charge. So, I think it would be a positive signing, a player that we know what we're going to get from him when he arrives. So, I'd be happy with it.
And running through the chat here, there's quite a few people have said him about a realistic one. SIW1875, Jordan Jones, realistic. A few other people sort of coming in with him as well. So, yeah, I think that's one that a few people would like to see. Liam, who's your first name for realistic?
It's pretty boring to be honest, but just getting Chris Cadden tied up and done and dusted. I think, I was impressed with him when I seen him at Motherwell. I was surprised when he went to Oxford from Motherwell. I thought that was a bit of a step down, but I remember him being direct, being good with the ball at his feet. So I'd be happy when we get that all done and dusted and tied up, because I think he'll be a great addition.
Chris, I know I had a Motherwell fan. I chased up another Motherwell fan. I tried to chase up the MFC podcast to get their opinion on him. So I'll quickly run through some of this here, because I'd asked them, what type of player he is and what Motherwell's fans' views on him and that. So this is what they've sort of said. They said about Chris that he broke into the team as a youngster and quickly impressed with his dynamic style and excellent energy levels. Over time, he found himself playing at right back on occasion and suffered a bit of a slump in form. By the time he left Fir Park, I think his confidence was pretty low, and perhaps the loss of a player that was initially so highly rated did not feel so much of a disappointment. And then they kind of go on talk about the fact that Motherwell fans a bit of a grudge towards him, because by going to America, there was the testimonial sort of fee, the development fee, was kind of, they didn't have to pay that, because the way that it works in MLS is the league owns the players, not the clubs. And then straight away he was loaned out to Oxford, who had refused to pay £320,000 for him. So that was a bit of a cheeky one there. So they're a bit of angry towards him. And then in terms of the right back, they feel that he's best when he's in a more of an attacking role. Obviously, that could potentially mean some competition for Boyle. Not the greatest tackler in their opinion, but don't know if he's worked on that in his game, and they don't see him sort of in and around the Scotland squad anytime soon. Stephen, sorry, what's your kind of thoughts on Chris Cadden? I know you weren't on the last podcast. Would he be an exciting that would sign you? Excite you?
Yeah, like Liam says, is direct, likes running at players, and I think that's what we need. Takes a bit of pressure off the Boyle as well, so gives us another option. I think it's hard going for Paul McGinn to be playing that role up and down the right wing for a full season on his own, and I think that Cadden would be that perfect person to fill in.
And what's your first realistic transfer then?
You're probably I agree that it's realistic, but I think that Alan Campbell in this transfer window would be realistic, purely on the fact that he's got 6 months left of his contract. Motherwell are in some slump. They'll not get Europe this season, and I think they'll probably want to cash in with him, especially the fact that Millwall and that are declaring interest as well. If Hibs are willing to put the money in for him and they really want him, this would be the chance to get him in. Because we'll not get him on a free, guaranteed.
Dave, you're shaking your head at that.
Well, Stephen, did you hear what you just said? If Hibs are willing to put the money in for him.
Well, you look at the summer, how much money we spent in the summer.
Yeah, I don't see us splashing out for Alan Campbell. That would be my semi-realistic one, if I'm being honest. I think we should. I just don't think we will, because it feels like it would be too good to be true if we got him.
I can't see us buying him either, because we just spent 200 grand for Kyle McGuinness, who plays in the same position in the summer. I mean, I can't see it.
Well, Campbell's a bit more like a battler. I think he would probably take Gogic's spot. But then the only thing with with Alan Campbell is he can actually play football as well as just be a battler. That sounded dead bitchy towards Gogic. And
that did sound bitchy.
I know,
I bet you wouldn't say that to Gogic's face, eh?
Nah, what the fuck? I would say it to him on Zoom, but I wouldn't say it to him in person. Obviously, he is all right at what he does, but he can't. He's a bit like Marvin Bartley in that sense that he can break up playing that, but when it comes to playing football,
Campbell's going box to box. Like, he reminds me, like, the way he's playing now sort of reminds me of what McGinn was like at that age, where he sticks a foot in and he can get up the park as well.
Keith Lasley compared to John McGinn.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say someone compared him to Keith Lasley. I was like, oh fuck no, no Keith Lasley.
To be fair, Billy disagree with. He's put Alan Campbell down as a realistic one. I'd maybe put him down as a more of a semi-realistic one rather than a realistic one. But I mean, he'd be a fantastic signing. I think there's a lot of Hibs fans in agreement. He's what we need. I know England, like Motherwell, like sort of Whittaker, Whitter's 57, sort of said Stoke and Millwall want him, so no chance he's coming to Hibs. I'd probably tend to agree with him. I think he is destined for the English Championship. So Dave, who's your semi-realistic signing?
It was Alan Campbell, but I'll change it. Wait a minute.
No, you can stick with him if you want. I mean,
that was my semi-realistic one.
Right. Well, we've talked about him quite a bit, but you just sort of, do you agree that it would be nice, but it's just probably not going to happen, but not out with the realms possibility.
Yeah.
Okay, Liam, your semi-realistic signing.
For me, to bolster the centre half options, Jason Kerr from St Johnstone.
Aye, he was down on that. No, he was down on my list. I actually put him as realistic, but
I think he's realistic.
I think he's got 18 months left in his contract, but still, he's getting a point in his career where I think he needs to make a move, and I think if he moved now, he could. I wouldn't rule him out. If he'd done well and sorted out Hibs' defence, he wouldn't be out with the possibility of the Scotland squad. If he was to move now.
Honestly, I can't see him going anywhere else in Scottish Premiership, because you know we ken how big a Hibby is, so he's not going to go to Aberdeen and walk right into that team, and he's not going to go to anyone else below us because they're all shite. So you know, it'd be the sensible move for him. So if you're listening, Jason, get a finger out, get on the phone to your agent, get my phone, Big Jack Ross, and see if we can sort something out. Right? No bother.
Stephen, what do you think in terms of the Jason Kerr? Would he be one that you could see happening? And you've been critical of defence. Would him and Porteous be a partnership you'd be more excited about going forward?
Well, ironically, my semi-realistic would be Declan Gallagher, which is another centre-half option. Purely again for the fact that Motherwell aren't doing well. He's got a chance at Europe. Well, he probably will be playing in the Euros for Scotland, and I think that it's a realistic target for us. So I would take Gallagher over Jason Kerr, regardless of whether he's a heavy or not. And I would prefer him over Kerr personally, but I think it is not without the realms of possibility.
Dave, Gallagher, I've seen him being linked with Celtic. Could you see Hibs having any chance of getting him?
I think I've seen that as well. I think he actually was saying that he's a big Celtic fan, and that's who he wants to go to. Would it be a big jump for him to go and start at Celtic? Probably no, because the Celtic centre halves are not the best either. So I could see Celtic taking him, but if no, then I would say semi-realistic is probably a good category to put him in.
Mm-hmm.
But with Scotland caps and that though, he's probably put a bit of value on his selling. So
yeah, his value's definitely got from playing from Scotland. That's one of the benefits. That's one of the reasons why I think we're so desperate for Kevin Nisbet to get in the Scotland squad to see his value go up.
No, you look at it realistically, like maybe 2-3 years down the line, Gallagher and Porteous will probably be your starting centre back pair for Scotland.
Potentially. Or Jason Kerr. And
You're forgetting about Grant Hanley. Grant Hanley will still be in the squad then.
And Craig sort of, who's moderate in the chat, has sort of put about the fact that Guthrie's been mentioned, obviously doing quite well at Livingston as a centre back, and obviously he's made the move from Livingston to Motherwell. Gallagher's made the move from Livingston to Motherwell. Could Guthrie be one that we get in before he sort of makes that first step, or how much have you seen of Guthrie and how much you've been impressed with him, Dave? Scored a few against us, but
I've not seen too much of him, to be fair, but Livy are solid, and they've had Halkett, Gallagher, that Lammy who's went to Motherwell as well. So their backline's been pretty strong over the years. So quite interesting that. Yeah.
And it's.
I don't know what I was going to say.
It's fine.
I just completely went off. I was like, "Who am I talking about?"
You've choked.
I choked.
And who are we thinking for fantasy signings? The graphic here, I've got Lee Griffiths down as a fantasy signing. Dave,
that was mine. Lee Griffiths was mine. We need a striker, but it's not going to happen.
Why is it not going to happen?
Because he needs to. Celtic have took this long to realise that they need to play him and Edward up front together.
And
they're not going to get rid of him now. I know it's been working. It worked at the end of last season for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they were doing. Lee Griffiths is quality.
What would he bring to the team?
Goals. He would score the chances that were missing. Yeah. Doidge is, like I say, for me, Doidge is replaceable.
Right. Not having the best the season so far.
Nice.
Who's your fantasy signing, Liam?
I've got two.
Right.
One is, of course, Lee Griffiths.
Right.
I think it speaks for itself. Another one is, you might laugh at me, but it's Stephen Whittaker. Because we should never let the guy go in the first place. The boy's Rolls Royce. He's the best player I've ever seen at Hibernian. Honestly.
What would Stephen Whittaker bring to the team?
Where do you want me to start? The boy's silky, he's skillful, he's good with the ball, his feet, he can play in several positions. He's a massive high B, he scores goals. Fucking he's brilliant.
Stephen, what would be your reaction if Hibs made a move to bring back Stephen Whittaker this window?
I'll come on with open arms. I'd welcome him back as a coach. I'd definitely take him back as a coach. I won't take him back as a player.
Dave,
how many coaches have we got? Fuck's sake, man.
No,
you finish playing with Hibs and you've got a coaching job for life. Everybody.
Get another cheerleader in. Stephen, who's your fantasy signing?
Well, it was Griffiths as well, but
right.
To be honest, I would take that Jamie McGrath to St Mirren now. I know he's only on loan there, and he is an all-round player, scores goals.
Where's he on loan for?
What's that?
Where's he on loan from?
Oh, Christ knows. I just saw that he was on loan there.
That's all Hibs fans have got, or Hibs as a club. They look at ex-players or they look at St Mirren players. That's it.
Seems to be working though.
Yeah, they're our scouting thing. If Mrs. McGinn's not having any more wins, we just go to St Mirren.
He's on loan from... is he actually permanent now? I think he's permanent. He's went from Dundalk.
That would have been an odd move on loan from Dundalk to St Mirren.
No, I just thought I saw something about him being on loan, but no, he's at St Mirren from...
Get this fucking amateur off the podcast, Gavin, honestly. This guy doesn't do his homework. He's useless. Get him off.
Well, it was Griffiths' only choice, realistically, for anybody as a fantasy signing now.
I suppose. At least I thought outside the box.
Yeah, I'd like to say Billy's actually put Griffiths down as a semi-realistic one, unrealistic Liam McLennan, unrealistic Declan Gallagher, and Lee Griffiths, other realistic Jason Kerr, that's from SIW 1875. Let's have a look here. Thanks to Craig again for putting these all together. So there's a few more in there, but like I say, there's a few people sort of saying about talking about realistic options up front. Dave, you've sort of spoken about Doige being off form. What is there any players that you would like to see us go in terms of strikers this window, Dave? Start with yourself.
Nah, I probably couldn't give you many names if I'm being honest. Obviously, it was actually Craig that floated the poll about Jason Cummins coming back, and it very much polarised the opinion of the Hibs fans, split in the middle, wasn't it? He's a finisher, but is he what we need? I would probably take him, but then I remember he went to Rangers and he was a dirty, dirty orange bastard, and then I'm like, no, I didn't want him. So,
Liam, any strikers come to mind? Craig has suggested Lewis Moult. I mean, it's not really worked out for him. It's Preston. What's your kind of thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, Louis Moult would be a good signing.
That's a belter.
He was class at Motherwell. He was, scoring goals for fun. So, if we could get him back, if we could get him up here, signing for Hibs, and get him into that form again. But, I think Fran Sandaza's without a club, so we could always go for him.
Louis Moult just reminds me too much of Boys. He had a good scoring record up here, went down. He's at Hearts now and he's not doing much. I would put him on par with Craig White at Hearts. And I think that Louis Moult would probably be the same when he come up now.
Louis Moult was quality.
Chipping in with his goals though. But yeah, and Blair has put here that Gullen needs to run the team. Dave, we're looking about saying realistic options for strikers. Is it fair to say Gullen hasn't been given much of a chance, especially in a 2?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I think I would probably start him against Celtic because I think a couple of players that were on the bench and maybe coming back from injury need to go straight into the team because the last couple of performances have not been good enough and I don't think anybody merits their spot. So they need to know that they can be taken out. And I think Gullen needs a chance. And I think Jack Ross would get away with doing that, justifying it that way as well.
Stephen, what do you think? Should Gullen be getting a run in the team?
Yeah. I don't know if he's got to be playing as a striker though. That's the only thing because he seems to be pushed out left a lot. And we saw the same with your pal under Hecky. He was moved out to the left a lot of the season. So I think I don't know. I'd play him up as a 2. I'd play him up as a 2 in this bit. See how it goes because, like Dave says, Doige isn't doing anything and doesn't merit a start. So, and Nisbet can't play as a 1 up front. So,
no.
Thing is, Gullen is he just going to turn into another Shaw, Harris,
Hunter's Bun,
Lewis Allen?
Is he going to get a chance or is he not going to get a chance?
I like Gullen. I think
yeah,
I like him more at left than I do up front. I think he is pretty direct when he's at left. I think we've seen the best of him when he's been out there rather than up front. I think he gets the ball a little bit more often. For me, him and Nisbet are a little bit too similar to play in a partnership together for a prolonged period. Other than Gullen coming off the bench for the last 20 minutes, 15 minutes of a game. If I was to start Gullen, it'd definitely be out wide left.
Well, when we played against Livy and we had the 3 up top, that was the perfect chance to go Gullen left, Nisbet middle, Boyle right.
Yeah, but because it's so sensible, Dave, that's why it didn't happen.
Yes.
Let's say on the chat, let's say about Jordan Jones and stuff. Mad Mental Hybe's put Jordan Jones, Murphy, and Boyle would be good options to have. I think talking about it wide. And then a couple of people talking about Gary Mackay-Stevens, talking about potential height. He was a realistic player. And we've got a question here from Hybe's09. We discussed last week that we needed a winger. Why didn't we make a move for Gary Mackay-Stevens? Liam, start from yourself.
I don't know.
Hibs fan, apparently.
I mean, allegedly when he was younger, but I don't know so much about now. I don't know why we never went for him. It seemed to me like a no-risk signing. Maybe he was promised, more football at Hearts than he maybe would have been at Hibs. That's if Hibs were even talking to him at all. But seemed like a reasonable signing. But he might just be one of these players who comes back and does shite after he's been away. Craig's just pointed out he's 31 in August. And I think Stephen said in the chat the other day, maybe he's found his level at Scottish Championship.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen, there was talk that Aberdeen had chats with him, but that never materialised into anything, and he kind of chose the Hearts option. I don't know if it was a case of Aberdeen at withdrawing.
Well, if Aberdeen spoke to him, then obviously we spoke to him first. I'm glad that we never took him. I think it would have just been too much at risk, especially with his age and being out of the country for so long. I just think that it wouldn't have nothing good would have come of it. And like Liam says, I did say in the chat that I think he's found his level at the Championship now.
Not that Hearts are going to be in the Championship for very long, but
I don't know.
Dundee are winning the league. Dunfermline are winning the playoffs. Happening.
Well, with Stephen Whittaker in their team, there's only one winner of that league.
And Fraser Murray.
Gary Mackay-Stevens would have got a game for us.
Yeah.
100%.
So why didn't we go for him?
I don't know.
Takes his lengthy contract.
I could be that they're offering him a longer contract, and that we might not even have went for him at all. Obviously I seen rumblings that Hibs, Aberdeen, and all that were interested, but I don't think for a second that if Hibs or Aberdeen were interested, they would have went to Hearts, unless it was for lengthy contract. But folk are obviously saying in the chat and that now that Mackay-Stevens is getting on about 31 in August. Murphy's 32 in August. We gave him a year's contract and he's injury prone in that.
Yeah.
So, what's the difference? I just think I kind of agree with Liam. Risk-free for me. He's another one who absolutely rips us apart every single time he plays us. So it's a wee bit annoying that we didn't just get a punt. But maybe when they take a year's contract or whatever. I don't know what he's been like the last couple of years. We're going back to 2017, the last time we probably played him. But
as far back as that? How long has he been in America for?
I think he left 2017-18 season. It felt like it.
I thought it was a bit more recent than that.
Maybe it was. I don't know. I'm clueless, mate.
So let's have a look there. There's a bit of chat now about this. I thought we'd sort of bring this up as a discussion about maybe players moving out this window and moving out in general. A question from Whiter77: is it not about time we got rid of the guys from 2006 and moved on?
2016.
2016.
2016 probably still got coaching roles though.
Someone get Rob Jones out of this club.
We've been there since 2006.
Yeah. So 2016. Dave, start with yourselves. Is it time to move on and get them off the wage bill if they're not playing?
Yeah, I thought this. Obviously, it's not going to go down well saying you didn't want McGregor and Gray and all that to be there, but I want players on the bench that can come on and make a difference, and that's not what we've got at all. And we're a small squad, we can't have players like that on the bench. And then when it comes to the argument of Lewis Stevenson and Paul Hanlon and that, they've probably just been too comfy for too long. They've never had a decent challenge. And I think now with Doig and Macey, Stevenson needs to be the third choice left back, and I think Hanlon needs phased out as well, if I'm honest, because I don't think Porteous can be as good as he can be with Hanlon next to him.
Hanlon's been a bit of a bomb scare recently.
So is Porteous.
Yeah, I suppose they all have. I suppose at the back. And I agree with you though. I mean, no one's going to forget what Gray, McGregor, Hanlon, Stevenson, and all that have done for this club. They've been magnificent servants for the time that they've been here. But it is time to let go of the fact we won the cup. This is nearly 5 years ago now. We won the cup. We didn't need them. I think Hibs fans are like, oh, won the cup winning legend, this, that, and the next thing. Gray scored the winner, But see, if Gray hadn't scored the winner and it was Keaton's, would Gray still be here?
I mean, it seems like he's a real sort of leader off the pitch. I remember Leanne Dempster. I've said this story before. Leanne Dempster speaking at the Player of the Year awards about when we're going through a difficult time. I think sort of when the whole Lennon thing, she never sort of said specifically, but how he sort of really stepped up as a leader. But I mean, like say, it's maybe one thing like for getting away from the wage bill, Stephen. Maybe a good thing to have these people around the club. But is there an argument that they're with them on the bench, they're holding youngsters back, and that those places on the bench should be going to some of the academy players?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's one of the things. I think that Gray and McGregor seem to think they've got another couple of years in them. They look at Whittaker at Dunfermline and they think that they can still play, but none of them deserve a spot on the bench for me.
Beats me how Gray's still at the club and Whittaker got released. Like
they can beat the club. They can still beat the club. I just think being on the bench is like what Gav's saying. That I think when we've got a small squad, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
See, when you look at the bench and you look at so tomorrow when we look at the starting lineup and you look at the bench, you look to the bench and you think there's no one on that bench that can come on and change a game to win it for you. You know, it's just old timers and the odd Stephen Bradley, Jamie Gullen. There's no one really there that can get on and grab the game by the scruff of the neck and pull you to a win, which is it's a bit concerning, to be honest.
We've got a question here from Laidlaw Jock who said they were too harsh on Hanlon because of the last 2-3 games. He played himself into the Scotland squad earlier in the season and the defence have not been very leaky before the last two. I mean, I think it's sort of been since Hampden myself, the defence has been a lot of individual errors. But Stephen, what's your thoughts there? We're maybe a bit harsh on Hanlon considering how well he started the season?
No, I think Hanlon played his way into the Scotland squad the same way that Lewis Stevenson got a call up, just purely for the sake of giving him a cap.
Felt bad for him
all season. It's not been good enough, and the fact that for the last maybe 8-9 games now, all the errors that are like creeping back into Porteous's game, like Dave says, it's because he's not got somebody in there that will drag him through the games and tell him what's what. I think Porteous is just getting a bit of free rein on it, and it's up to Hanlon to rein him back in.
For me, Hanlon, I think I've said this on previous podcasts as well, but Hanlon has never seemed like the kind of person to be a leader on the park. When I was at when we used to be able to go to Easter Road, I could never hear Hanlon shouting and motivating the rest of the defence. He always seemed so quiet, so timid, and I just don't see what he actually brings to the defence. And I know that he had a decent start to the season. The whole defence had a decent start to the season, but just because he's been at Hibs for so long doesn't he merit him a place in the starting 11. We need to take the green tinted glasses off and bring in a proper centre half who can lead the team and direct the rest of the defence.
I can see why people are thinking, maybe being a bit harsh on him, right? Because I think he did have a good start to the season. He does have good games, but he is a bit liable to a mistake. The last couple of games, he's not been good enough. But see, if we want to be third spot and challenging like European spots in every season and progress as a club, then I think we probably need to be a wee bit more harsh and have competition for places. That centre half pairing have got no competition at all. Like we've got, even when we go to a back three, we've got McGinn needs to come in and play that third spot, which to be fair, I think they play better as a 3 than they do as a 2. So, but we need better. Unless if we just sit back and accept that Hanlon and Porteous are going to be good enough as a 2, then welcome 5th spot every season, 6th spot.
Stephen, is it fair to say that it was quite telling that how short we were with that David Gray found himself playing at centre back in a League Cup game when Hanlon had a niggle injury and Porteous was with the Scotland squad?
Yeah, definitely. Seemed to be short all over the park. Down to injuries, just lack of players. I would probably call back Fraser Murray depending on how long Allen's got to be out. Still no sort of word on that. And I think when you're having to rely on Gogic, who's out of form, all the pressure is going on to Newell. Hallberg's never been that good. Mallon's never been that good for the last 2 years. I just think that we're short all over the park.
And the manager sort of said about there could be players going out. He wouldn't rule out players going out this window. Is there anybody, Dave, just sort of quickly run through the theories, is there anybody that you guys could maybe see leaving?
Leaving this window?
Yeah.
Stevie Mallon.
Is he not? Jack Ross loves him though. He knows him for his time at St Mirren. Surely Jack Ross is one of those that he's like, well, I can get a player out of him. He seems to keep on persevering with him.
I don't see why.
But how long does he persevere when he's not getting the rewards?
Yeah, I didn't want to be brutal on him because I think he has said that he's aware that he's getting stick in that, which is probably not fair, and it's probably not going to make him play any better, is it? If he's a confidence player, he's not going to come on but I don't think he's going to be good enough. Definitely does not fit. His chance was when Scott Allen was out to take that position, and I don't think he's done it. So, and I'd probably say Hallberg could probably move on as well, but I don't think he will. I don't think we've got a big enough squad to be letting many people leave, to be fair.
I feel for Stevie Mallon. I really do. Because, like you say, he's got to see all that stick that he's getting every single time that he plays on Twitter and that. And I know that his performances haven't been good enough and stuff, but, you know, if I was Stevie Mallon looking at that every week after, you know, probably putting a proper shift in, you're thinking, why the fuck am I here? Well, like, why can't I just go to another club where the fans didn't slate me every week? And I think he's used a lot of the time when he plays as a scapegoat, and you know, you didn't want that.
Scapegoat though when you're playing Pish every week.
Pish, but you know, I just think it's a bit of a shame.
There's a lot of reasons.
Next time Boyle plays up top, I would put Mallon out on the right and see how he does. Because that's where he was playing when he was at St Mirren.
He's not played it there for young, so he's not fast enough to play with.
No, that's what I'm saying though. But he played there when he was at St Mirren, and that's obviously where Jack Ross saw him. I'm
not comparing him to David Beckham, but David Beckham wasn't very fast. He made a career. I'm just saying he was a player that wasn't fast and made a career on the wing because of his delivery from dead balls and from his crossing ability. I'm just saying that's maybe not the worst thing to see. I don't know if football's moved on now. Would David Beckham still be a player in this day and age? Don't know. Anyway.
He's a bit old now.
Aye. So just quickly, we'll finish up there. There's a couple of just quick things to run through. We were talking about the centre backs. A few names being mentioned. Apparently, Simunovic is a free agent, 26, 27.
Simunovic, that used to play with Celtic.
They used to play with Celtic, free agent apparently. And Stuart Finlay is available on a pre-contract. Another one's that been mentioned. Doing very well just now, so another one would be a good option. But yeah. So we'll wrap it up there, folks. And like I say, thank you for all your sort of joining the chat, and thank you for Craig for helping moderate the chat. It was a big help. So I'll give him a shout out on Twitter because he is quite funny on Twitter. I'll give him that. CL07C2. Give him a follow. But yeah. So what have you guys got planned for the rest of your Saturday?
It's actually CL0762, not C2, Gav. Cheers for that, mate.
I was going to say that as well.
Okay, I said I was only allowed one mistake. I made two. Fuck it. I'm dyslexic. Get over it. Dave, start me yourself. What's your plans for the rest of the day? Craig, you can join us. I'll take off the thing. You can join us for the end of the video. Where's the thing? Dave, what's your plans for the rest of Saturday?
I'm just going to chill out, mate, and watch my... I've not even got a coupon on, in fact. I'm all over the place today. I'm going to make some dinner. I'm going to make a Chinese chicken curry.
Nice.
No scratch.
Hush rice the lot.
Yes.
Can't beat it.
Liam, what's your plans for tonight?
Not much. Just going to chill with the missus. So, yeah, nice and easy Saturday.
Sounds good. Stephen?
Still got the kids, so get them sorted for dinner and that. Got my Wagamama cookbook through, so.
Nice.
Aye, but see on that, I didn't realise that. Well, my mates were like, but you need to go to like a proper Asian supermarket. Like you're not going to get half the ingredients done.
There's a Chinese supermarket in Edinburgh.
Oh, is there, Gav? Aye. We're in lockdown, mate. I can't go to Edinburgh.
You didn't help them
Get it
anyway.
up, you Gav!
I paid £12 for a book that I'm going to just sit and look at and salivate.
I'm sure it'll be
You
lovely
can't even
pictures.
read.
But I can look online probably. They should what they should do. Wagamamas, I don't know if they do this or not. See if they do, well done. See if they didn't, get me on board. I can make you some money. They should have like an ingredients pack that you could buy a big box of all Wagamama ingredients and they just deliver it to your house. I'd buy that.
I think they've got like the how Nando's have got all their stuff in Asda and that. Like they've got their shelf where like all the peri peri. I'm sure Wagamama's got all their sauces and stuff in Asda.
Have they?
I think so.
We're in fucking lockdown, Stephen!
You go to fucking Asda, you dick.
I can go to Asda. It's like 2 minutes on the road.
And Craig, what's your plans for the rest of Saturday?
None, mate. Just none actually. There's probably been doing my 5,000 steps a day to start with, so I'll probably get them in it
Right.
at some point. Have something healthy for tea as we're all doing the now as well.
A few football games on as well today, isn't there? FA Cup, Man United, Watford's one I can think of. Who's at Arsenal are playing, Stephen?
Fuck knows.
Oh, big Arsenal fan here.
I know. Pathetic. Like I said earlier,
they're the half.
Switched off for the football today. Who have they got?
They're the 5:30 kickoff, I'm sure.
Newcastle.
Right, that should be a good game.
Got my Bright Skies t-shirt in. There you go, Liam. Plug
yes.
So might
No,
not-
Thank you to Gav and to Dave, and a big fuck you to Stephen, because everyone else has bought t-shirts from my band, and Stephen Husney, again, he's an amateur, get him off. It's my life's plan to make sure Stephen never comes on his podcast again. So,
To be fair, I've not bought one either.
First.
I've not bought one either.
Craig, you've given me the promise that you're going to buy one, so that's good enough for me. And you've not got your camera on, so.
If anybody looks at the t-shirts, Liam, and goes, "Oh, that's quite nice. Where would I like? Oh, I'd like one of them. I'd like a Bright Skies t-shirt. That Tokyo song's an absolute banger. Where can I
It's
get them?"
funny that you say that, Gav, because we've got an online shop. It's called www.thebrightskies.bigcartel.com, and you can get that lovely black t-shirt and that lovely white t-shirt that Dave showed.
I prefer the
Fantastic, and an array of sizes. What are you saying?
You've only got 2 t-shirts, so there's no point in me getting one.
I know, well, I didn't want you to ruin the image of the band anyway, so.
Fucking, I would like the design of the black top, but on a white top.
Oh, you have to be that guy, eh?
Aye.
You know, we're not made of money, Craig, so.
That's fine, mate. If you can't cater to your customers' needs, I'll just take my business elsewhere.
Good, we don't want you.
Right,
Charlie beat Derby in the FA Cup, eh?
What's that?
Charlie beat Derby in the FA Cup.
Aye, but Derby Derby were like Aston Villa last night.
Were they?
I had it was a full team of youngsters who had it.
Jeez.
Charlie beat them.
Aye.
Oof. A tasty tie.
Aye, right. We'll finish up there, folks. Like I say, enjoy the rest of the football that's on the day. Enjoy the FA Cup. Dave's giving me a single wrap up. He must be getting bored.
Wrap up. Bored.
Enjoy the game on Monday night. And a couple of times I've said tomorrow. I apologise about that because somebody in the chat corrected me. So yeah, enjoy the game on Monday night. We're back to review that game and look ahead. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Follow us at HFC Talk, and thanks for watching and listening.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
Bye.